Hey everybody, it's Big E. Welcome to Big E's Auto. So today we're going to do probably a bigger project than what I thought. It's going to be it's supposed to be simple, but we're going to try it. We're going to do, the time has come for the old Holley 600 carburetor to get replaced with fuel injection. The 600 single feed has worked well, gotten decent performance, but cold weather driving has not been good because it has a manual choke, so always adjusting it, always adjusting to weather conditions. With that being said, I was doing some looking around and decided on the Holley Sniper E.F.I. So we're going to unbox this, and it has just some, pardon my poor wiring, but it has the wire harness here. This is obviously the actual unit itself that's going to bolt on and place the carburetor. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to look at some stuff, get some tools together, and when I get back, we're going to get into removing the carburetor, the linkage, the fuel line. We're going to be able to get rid of the regulator because now we can run full pressure from the in-tank fuel pump that the car already has. So we'll be able to run right into that. And we took out the O2 sensor that was mangled up because that's where the new one's going to go, is down there. So we got some work to do. So let me get some tools and we're going to get to it. Alright guys, I'm back. So mocked up this is the actual fuel injection unit here. You have your idle air. We have to hook up the linkage. The fuel lines are in the back, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to have to refabricate fuel lines and see what I can get directly from there to go to here. I also the car never had a return line on the carburetor, so I got to figure out a return line as well to go back to the fuel tank. So the plug and play isn't as plug and play as you thought, but still I'm tickled pink with the fact that this thing bolts up to where the other carburetor did. And so hopefully I can get that figured out. When I come back, we'll have a little more hooked up. Alright guys, so I'm back. So here I'm going to update you where I'm at. Got the wiring done, so I'm going to go over this. So what you have here, this is cut. There's two wire harnesses you can use for this. One's a 7-pin, one's a 10-pin. So with my understanding is, if you have the factory ignition system, I keep wanting to say factory exhaust, but it's factory ignition system, you're going to use the 7. So meaning that you're going to have 7 wires. So obviously this comes off of your connector there. So obviously this is your battery power. This is going to be your ground, and they said to connect it directly to your battery. So we're going to come over here as well, go over the rest of it. So then you have a yellow wire coming off of here, and this is going to be your coil negative, or if you have a GM HEI, there's a terminal marked tack. Look for that wire. I think it's a tan wire, I believe, on the factory harness. So put your yellow wire, which is your tack pickup, that's going to be for your connector for your fuel injection here. Also, you have a blue wire here. This is for your fuel pump. This gets wired into the fuel pump. I think GM, they have a relay. If you have a relay, I think it's either a tan, or I mean a yellow with a green tracer wire, or I think it's a green wire with a yellow tracer. I think, don't mark my words, but it's something like that on GM. But anyway, just find your power wire for your in-tank fuel pump and have this wired to that. And then the last one is your pink wire here, which is going to be, that's your switch ignition power. So you have your ground, battery, you have battery power, you have your tack pickup, You have your fuel pump control, and you have your ignition switch power, and then you have your other controls here that are going to get mounted to the firewall, but I'm not going to mount that just yet until we fire this thing up. So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to purge the fuel lines, and once I purge the fuel lines, I'm going to see about getting this thing set up and maybe even just fire this thing up yet today. Alright guys, so it's kind of hard to see, it's at night here, but I have the handheld here in my hand, so I'm going to go ahead. We're going to power up everything. We're going to go to, we're doing some, you can see it's metering what the car is doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, we're going to go back to the home screen. I'm going to show you how we set it up. My camera isn't working the greatest, but so what you're going to do is you're going to see down here on the menu, it's called Wizards. You're going to click on that, and then it's going to ask you what you want, which sniper system. So we have the sniper, the 550-510, 511, and the 516. So with the 4 injectors. So that's what you have. So you're going to go ahead. You're going to hit the next button. Number of cylinders is 8. It's going to ask you for your engine displacement. You can use this slide bar. We can go like this. Actually, we're too big. Sorry. We can hit down here. $350, okay? That's what you're going to put on there. We're going to hit next. Target idle speed. Let's make it like, let's go for, I like 950. Cam type, we're going to put stock mild. You have street strip and you have all out race cam. So we're going to stick with the stock and mild. We're going to hit the next. Power outers, I'm going to have none. RPM, signal type, I'm going to have coil negative. It's an HEI, you're going to use the TAC anyway. So they're going to use the coil negative because all the rest is like a magnetic distributor, Holley dual, a CD box. We don't have any of that. So we're just going to hit the next button. And it's going to upload it onto the thing. Please cycle. But as you can see, it has lots of different stuff on the screen. Now, unfortunately, with it being as late as it is, I don't want to get the neighbors riled up. So, what I'm basically gonna do here, I'm just gonna stop the video here. It's late at night. It's after 9:30. Basically, at this point, that is uploaded. The ECM is actually located, I found, inside the throttle body itself. That's where it's located. So this controller, this screen, this touch screen is not the brain. It's basically just a way to access the ECM that's located inside the throttle body. So at this point, you would be ready to fire up the car, whatever vehicle you're putting it on, and it would start learning what parameters, what adjustment needs to make the car run to that, what you're desiring with idle speed, other things like that, stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not going to do that right now. It's super late. So I may give it a shot tomorrow, see what it is, and go from there. But at this point, you would be ready to start the vehicle, and it would start learning You want to let it idle. I believe it says in the instruction book, it says to let it idle till it gets some temperature. And then what you can do is you can drive just cruising, no wide open throttle. Let it get up to operating temperature and just cruise around at part throttle, low to medium shift points. And then you want to shut. Then once it learns that and it rides pretty good, you want to let the car, park the car, let it cool off. You can fire it up, and I believe at that point you can drive it. And then all of a sudden, if you want to make a few attempts at wide open throttle, you can. But it's all described in the instruction book here. I'm sorry about the lighting, but like I said, it's after 9:30, so it's really late. Anyway. I gotta go get the kids to bed. They have school tomorrow. So I hope this helps with if you're thinking of going to EFI. This is a great. This kit actually was so much. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to install. I thought it was going to be a real pain, and it wasn't. The linkage basically bolted right up. The flange with the intake manifold, everything lined up, bolted it down. Vacuum lines, I have to just clean everything up, cut them to the length that they need to be. Everything was there. The wiring. Now the only thing I did screw up, and I'm going to say this to you, your ignition wire, the pink wire, if you're using the 7-pin, make sure you have 12 volts going to that wire. I had an issue where it wouldn't power up. It wouldn't boot anything. I actually called Holley Performance. They were extremely helpful. Shout out to Holley for making a great product, for having great technical assistance here with that. Here it ended up being, took my multimeter, found I had 11.4 volts on the ignition power wire. Not enough. You gotta have 12. So I found another location. I wired it in. As you can see, it powered right up. Went to my setup wizard, got everything set up. There's also functions where you can just have different gauges and monitor what the car's doing. There's lots of versatility in this kit. I was extremely impressed with how easy it was to install. Basically, once I got that issue straightened out with the ignition power, I mean, this thing pretty much is pretty much, you know, you just play around with it, plug and play. I'm anxious to see, get it running. I'm anxious to take this thing out for a ride and actually see what it does at part throttle and around town and things like that. I'm really anxious for that. I'm gonna wait. I got some things I got to do too, other things. So anyway, like and subscribe, leave a comment. I hope you learned something. So anyway, watch out for each other, take care of each other. See you next time right here on Big E's. Bye for now.